G'day, welcome back to the channel. My name is Peachy. I am a full-time worker. I've got a full-time job. I get all those full-time benefits come with having that full-time job, and I also have a few little side hustles on the side. Do reselling, which you'll see today. Got an investment property which we got in Queensland, Brisbane, just before, bought that about 5, 6, 7 years ago. Just before it went absolutely crazy up there, and that's become a bit of a gold mine. Had shares, kind of cashed out with the shares now a little bit, so we still got a couple, but for the most part we've cashed out of our shares. And today we are focusing on the reselling part of that, and we're going to go into Frankston for a little bit and have a bit of a look around town, see what we can find, and then of course we'll head off to Salvos, our go-to, our comfort zone, where we get most of our stuff from. So with no further ado, let's get to the thrift. And today we are in Frankston, and today we kind of had to kill some time in Frankston, and unfortunately a lot of the shops in this area have closed down or up for lease, all that type of thing. But we did remember there was a double-story Salvos in Frankston, which has given us some good stuff in the past. Not great, just good stuff. So we decided we'd check it out, and we always start with the t-shirts or the men's section. And we thought we got a little bit excited here when we saw a North Melbourne football jersey, jumper, Guernsey, whatever you want to call it, but unfortunately it's a fake. It's got that blue tag, and that blue tag means that it is from Bali. I'm pretty sure the fake ones from Thailand have actually got a different colour logo or tag. And again, we saw a Melbourne Tigers. It is Melbourne Tigers basketball jersey. It's an Indigenous one, but unfortunately it's NBL1. You can see that it's got NBL1 on it, which means it's like the G League to the NBA, the lesser league, semi-professional at best. Some of the guys get paid, most don't. And sports cards, I always like seeing sports cards. What I don't like seeing is when people put these lucky bands around them. Just don't do it. Even on common cards, it makes me cringe. Good way to kill off a card is by doing that. Headphones, I had these Raptor headphones, and of course Salvos put their little price increment on there, increase to make their money, I guess. New inbox, I guess. And they had this Barbie car. Again, not really worth too much money. I guess if you're into Barbies, it'd be cool for your set, but we're not into Barbie, so it's not good for our set. And we also found this, I don't know what this was. Someone tell me in the comments. It looked like some sort of transformer or bootleg type transformer. It was decent quality actually, so I didn't feel like it was an actual transformer bootleg, but it was definitely a fake, I think, but just good quality. So we decided we'd venture up the ramp. I always like going up the ramp at this Salvos. Good exercise, getting those steps up, but just some of the artwork of Frankston, and in the past I always put up their pictures of what they want to sell. Didn't really have that today. And upstairs you can see there a lot of books, and I've kind of turned this now into more of a furniture, second-hand furniture type area, with a bit of bric-a-brac, some toys, some sports equipment, some artwork. So you can buy a Van Gogh artwork at Savers if you want. Salvos, I mean. There wasn't much up there, so we headed back down. A little bit disappointed, and we're about to head off because we haven't picked up any items. Before we head off, we saw the cabinet and had like these Zelda Link figures in box. Didn't get a price on them, but they were pretty cool. So, as you can see there, we actually picked up absolutely zilch from Salvos, and that's kind of why I don't really go to Salvos or Vinnie's. When you do find those good items, the prices are way up here. You don't really find bargains that often anymore. So I just kind of skip out on Salvos, Vinnie's. Yes, you can find good items and they're not there. I'm not denying that, but just seems few and further between these days where you can actually find items in those places. So with no further ado, we'll go to our favourite place, Savers. See you soon. And we're back at the old faithful Savers. We pick up most of our stuff. It's always pretty reliable, and it's part of my money ball. Put as less time into it as possible, and the store delivers. We looked at the hats. That is Simpson's Bart Simpson hat, Harley Heaven hat. So some pretty cool hats. Miller Child. This pretty cool looking Richmond Tigers hat. Had this stereo hat, which I thought might have been worth some money. It was, but not real money, not good money, not enough to resell. USC is always popular. And that is Israel Adesanya, USC fighter from New Zealand. This was a Goat Crew one of those Culture Kings t-shirts. Pretty cool looking shirt. I'm sure there's a bit of money in that, but for $14, we weren't going to take that risk. And the jerseys, I had a bunch of soccer jerseys. A lot of them were fake. This one was a Barcelona one. Ronaldinho, something like that. Looked fake, looked real, but I think it was fake. And they also had this Richmond Tigers vintage AFL polo, which we picked up. Not sure how they go. There was no sponsor on that one, but we're happy to pick it up and take the risk. And also had a Callaway. We didn't pick this one up, but Callaway is a decent brand. And we also found a player issue. Jared informs me that this one is Shane Verse. Sort of might have been a Jared Harbrough because he picked him up in the past, one of his play issues. Good to see this one. This one looks quite old. It's got almost like the stitched on old numbers, bit of turf there, maybe from the wooden oval. So always happy to pick up player issue jerseys, even though it doesn't have the GPS tracker on it. All right, so as per normal, we're going to start off with the media and toys and all that jazz. What did we find this week? We bought a DVD. Don't normally buy too many DVDs, but we found this Blu-ray, Lupin the Third. It is like I think it's actually based off an anime series. It's like a movie. It is sealed, which is pretty cool. So we got that one, which is awesome. To the toys, we found these Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't know, got the magnets, a whole bunch of them. Some Thomas, I don't know if the ones the magnets are worth a bit of money. They feel a bit heavier. They're probably better quality, I think, than some of the other ones, the plastic ones, which you can get. And look, I'm not sure I've actually sold any Thomas yet, so maybe my price is a bit high. Maybe it's just been hidden on the YouTube algorithm. Who knows? Might need to adjust that listing. What else do we get? We picked up a Maserati. Yes, we picked up a Maserati. Normally, these sort of cars are Barbie-style cars, and they're worth not too much. But this one is actually the Bratz car, and anything Bratz tends to go pretty well. And when we saw Bratz Maserati, there's not many listings in Australia. Most of these are overseas, so I'm not sure it's a hard car to find. I'm sure someone who has their Bratz dolls will want them to be going around, driving around in style. And this Maserati is definitely a pretty cool pickup, I think. Pretty good price too, so I'm happy with that. We also picked up a bit of a plush doll. I think this is Carl, I don't know his name, Carl Pilkington or something like that. Carl, I don't know what his name is. He's from the movie Up. We did comp him up, and there was a lot of good prices listed on him, but I made a bit of a mistake. It's not actually on this one. This one goes for about $20, $25, which is okay. But a lot of these, or this character in a different plush, sells for a lot higher. And I kind of looked it up and thought, that looks like my one. It wasn't. Bit disappointed. But hopefully we can make some, we'll probably still make profit out of that anyway. So that's the toys, media, and all that sort of stuff. I was looking in the men's long sleeve. Found this Ansett Gold. It is a new brand. It was quite a thick jumper. And it's made out of wool. Wool generally goes pretty well, especially Australian wool. And for $7.50, it was comping up quite well. So we decided we'd give it a chance. Like taking risks. Not really a risk because it's $7.50 and it's definitely going to get me some money. Anco. They've got Harley Davidson now. Really weird combination. Generally you think of Anco, you think of the cheap stuff at Kmart. And it is the cheap stuff at Kmart, but it's just weird to see they've got some Harley Davidson labelled stuff. And this Stussy, this camouflage jacket, I considered picking this up for $20. It was comping up some of this camouflage stuff quite well. And some of it wasn't. Some of it was going for really good money. But I just wasn't sure where this one sat because I couldn't find a direct comp on this exact jacket. But my gut tells me it probably goes okay. And we also saw this jigsaw puzzle. This is like a 3D one, I think. And again, with jigsaw puzzles, these ones do sell really well and go for some good money. But again, you're just not sure if the pieces are in there or not. And that's not really a risk I'm prepared to take. So we said no. And onto the t-shirts. Like I said in the past videos, t-shirts sometimes my monthly biggest seller depending on the month, which is a good problem to have because there's no guarantees what's going to be my highest seller selling items. And that's kind of why I'm a bit of a all over eBay store. I sell a bit of everything, and you just don't know. You're like in the city, what's going to sell, what's not going to sell. This is a cheap Star Wars t-shirt. I mean, not Star Wars, Scarface t-shirt. It's got what's his face on there. Tony Montana. This thought it was pretty cool. It's actually a nice thick t-shirt, so I'm not sure it's an older one. And I think that design goes okay. Next thing we picked up was a Stussy. Just a plain old basic Stussy. Got some marking on there, we'll get rid of that. The Stussy, and on the back it's got like a camo design. So I think they'll go okay. Stussy does tend to sell, you're not going to get huge money for it, but it's a consistent seller. Bread and butter, as I guess the experts say. Thought this was a pretty cool t-shirt. I might even wear this myself. This Donkey Kong, it is officially branded Nintendo. So it's probably from Zing or something like that. Again, not huge money, Japanese Donkey Kong, but a little bit unique. I just like the design. A good quality t-shirt. It's more of a sports top. It's a vintage AFL. Richmond Polo. It's got that design there. Look, I think that design there, that logo there, it's still going okay, but I think it was more desirable. I think it's dropped off a little bit. Richmond Tigers, nothing too fancy about that, apart from it being vintage AFL. And our last t-shirt was a Star Wars one, again very cheap. Take a bit of it just to experiment here. I'm not going to say a chance, because when we put $3 into it, it's not really a risk. It's $3, and we'll see what we can get for it. This one's a pretty cool Star Wars design. Sometimes you get cool Star Wars designs, sometimes you don't. I think that one's not a bad design. So that's the t-shirts for the week. Into the toys, we did find these Harry Potter new in box, almost like pop type figures, Funko Pops. Again, don't really know what they are, don't know who the character is, but cool to see stuff new in package like this, but especially if it's Harry Potter, but just wasn't sure really what it was. And again, I was couldn't really be bothered dealing with it, to be honest with you. Thomas the Tank, sometimes I pick these up, sometimes I hand them over to other resellers. These ones I did pick up, they've got the magnets, and there's just some weird see-through aquarium type looking carriages there. So I thought, look, I'll give them a shot. Again, something I pick up here and there. Some days I don't, but apparently there's a bit of a good market for them, so we'll see. On to my favourite category. I always like picking up some good jerseys. And again, first time picking this up. It's a Melbourne Aces. So Melbourne Aces are like the local or Melbourne-based baseball team in Australia. So it's part of the ABL, which is Australian Baseball League. I have picked up some of this stuff in the past, and it has surprisingly sold. So yes, it's a very small market, but it seems like it's a pretty passionate market. So Melbourne Aces, just a baseball jersey, that's a 3XL, so it almost looks like a player issue. Wish there was a name on it or something. It has got number 50, but again, I don't know much about Australian baseball. Has done a lot of Perth Heat stuff in the past, so let's hope Melbourne Aces have the same popularity, so I can sell it. Chicago Blackhawks, this is just a shirt, not a jersey. Just if you want to rock out, tell everyone you go for the Chicago Blackhawks. Nice little design. Don't mind that. Pretty cool. Next thing we picked up was a play issue jersey. Picking them up maybe one or so a week lately, play issue, when I go there during the day. And this was a Shane Burse. Thank you, Judder, because I thought this was a Jared Harborough, because I have picked up Jared Harborough about a month or so ago, maybe a bit longer, and it was Jared Harborough's Chinese game, Shanghai game jersey. And when I saw 40 from this era, it was Jared Harborough. I think Jared Harborough's got rid of all these old footy jerseys, but no, it is Shane Burse. He played, I don't know, 40 odd, 50 odd games for the Bulldogs, and this is just a training jersey, number 40. Not bad for $10, and it's quite unique, so I'm hoping that fetches me a bit of moolah. We'll see how we go. And a Wallabies jersey. I told you my cousin plays for the Wallabies. Anyway, we've got a Asics. I'm not sure. This does look like it's fairly old, potentially vintage. I'm not sure. does feel like an old vintage style jersey, jumper, long sleeve. We got that one straight off the rack before it could even go to the shelves. And that's a bit of a tip there. And we also found this car. Didn't know what it was, but we Google lensed it, and as it turns out, it was the Bratz Maserati. This thing's quite desirable, collectible. People like Bratz, and people want them to ride in the coolest car possible. And for $4.50, your Bratz dolls can now ride in a Maserati and be the coolest dolls on the planet. So we did pick that one up. What we didn't pick up was this, I don't know what this car was, some sort of V-dub maybe. And it's a Barbie car. These are kind of dime a dozen at Savers and op shops. This one's a little bit different though, but we put that one back. Bratz are cooler than Barbie. Bratz are generally worth more than Barbie, generally. Did find this Ferrari. I thought it was one of those display ones that people used to have in the late 80s, early 90s, which were quite popular. Cool detail on it, but it's kind of like a remote control one. Has batteries and all that sort of stuff. Not really what we want, so we put that one back on the shelf. Cool car, a lot of detail in it, but just not for us. And we did find this new in box. These are actually pretty cool if you've got kids and want them to torch the neighborhood. Like water balloons, you can launch your water balloons with this slingshot, like 40 meters. So if you don't like that neighbor behind you, you can fling water bottles into their backyard. I was actually tempted to buy this for a friend, but we don't want them to get in trouble, so we've left that one on the shelf. And lastly, and probably not leastly, it's coming up to winter, so people are going to start getting cold in Victoria, in most of Australia. So we'll show you the jackets, and most of these are jackets today. So Quicksilver, again, only pick these up if you can get them for a good price. If you're paying up, don't get them. Just Quicksilver. Quite a nice jacket there. It's got Winter Sports on the logo. Not sure if that's a vintage logo, but it must be going close. Next thing we picked up, first time we picked this brand up, it's Ansett Gold. And it's quite a thick jumper. I think it's about a 3XL as well. So Ansett Gold, you can see it there. Very thick. This will keep you warm, definitely keep you warm. And we just looked it up, and these are brand new. They go for about 160 bucks. So I picked it up, see how we go. I think I got that for 8. So again, even if we get half of 160, 180 bucks, we're going to be making some good profit off that one. Next thing we picked up was a Perth Glory. And again, you see Perth Glory in Melbourne. You don't really see it too often. You see a lot of Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory, but not too often you see Perth Glory. Nice purple jacket. And the reason I got it, because it's new with tags. And I think it's not vintage, but it's definitely quite an old jacket. Not sure exact year on it. Wish I had another sponsor on there, but it doesn't. So again, hopefully there's a few Perth Glory supporters left to buy that. And the last thing we picked up, we got this at quite a really good price as well. It's a DC, so they generally make shoes. DC, this is like a pretty big insulated jacket. Don't know why it was so cheap, but we picked it up. Again, I'm not sure if that's a good design or not, but a little bit different. So pretty big jacket coming up to winter. That will definitely keep you warm as well. And so that's all our pickups. Hopefully we can make some profit off that. Be nice if a couple of those items can pay for the lot, because again, you get those 1 or 2 items that just pay for everything. It makes you feel a lot better. That's my items. See you in the next one. Happy thrifting.